All right, I'm gonna start the recording, and we can do what we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Show your boobs. Is that what chat is saying? That's
Show
okay.
your bubs. So, like, if we have Bubsy here, we have to show him.
I
But
don't
I
have
don't.
Okay.
Bubsy. I've never
Yeah,
played a
I
Bubsy
have I
game.
have no bubs today.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that case, Ro, are you ready to start off to for the show to start?
I'm more than ready.
All right, John, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Welcome to Azeroth Roundtable, episode 299. It's Saturday night. It's a different night than normal. We're here. We're ready to talk. We're ready to have fun. That was weird, John. But anyways, with me as always, except for one time, is John Jagger. How's it going,
Oh
John?
man, you're just not gonna let me live that down. That's just gonna be a forever thing. Hi
Well,
Ben. Hello.
you know what?
It's
At some point, I will stop. It's just because you always touted how great it was that you're on every single episode a few times.
yeah.
So I'm just doing it a couple times.
I
That's it.
know it's fair. It's gonna be weird when it's the 300th episode and neither one of us have been on 300 episodes.
That's fine. We've done extra episodes, so I think that it's enough that it's been 300 for at least one of us.
I think that's fair. It's Saturday night here in
Yeah,
Azeroth.
it is.
I had
Weird, right?
a holiday party to attend
Mm-hmm.
to, and it was very good. And as a result, the show got pushed back to tonight. But that's fine because Ben, it's not just you and me.
No, it's not.
We brought a friend. We brought Ro. Hello, Ro.
Oh, hi, John.
Hi.
I'm very honored to be here on the penultimate show before the 300 episode extravaganza.
Yeah.
I've heard you guys have been preparing for episode 300 for months now.
You have
I heard
my
about
friend.
I heard about the laser show, the dancing Murlocs. It's going to be great.
Episode 300 is going to be great. If we had really thought about it, I think we could have done something special. But
Yeah.
it also happens to coincide with the holidays, which always get tricky for everybody. So, folks, to celebrate 300 episodes of Azeroth Roundtable, expect a mediocre to decent Azeroth Roundtable.
So basically, in our holiday tradition, we'll probably be talking about a movie or movies.
Yeah, we might not even talk about WoW. That might be our gift to us.
What-
Yeah,
The 300th episode will be Into the Spider-Verse.
Could be.
maybe.
We're going to
Maybe.
see it after this
There's
episode.
a lot of threads to follow in that.
Yeah.
I have not yet seen the movie. I wish I was able to get out to it. I've been really busy with work, but I'm off Monday and Tuesday, so hoping to get to see it one of those days.
Spoilers. I'd check it out if I were you.
No,
I've
that's not a
seen
spoiler.
nothing
That's
but
not how that
I've
works.
seen and heard nothing but praise about it. People who aren't into Spider-Man movies normally are giving it high praise, which is pretty cool.
I'm excited about it, but we might talk about that at some other time. Maybe,
Yes.
possibly. That is a
Yes.
thread
This week,
that we
though,
could follow.
Mm.
When
we are
come
jumping
to it.
into a different kind of verse.
Ooh.
I was setting up a transition, and then Ben was apparently setting up a transition.
Well,
Let's
no,
see where
go
this
with yours because
goes.
mine's kind of dumb.
Okay, I was gonna say, speaking of following threads, did you hear the hive mind mount has been found?
Oh, it
Yes.
has.
Yes, as of
I saw bits of it.
It
a
has,
dramatic
it has
coughing
been claimed.
pause. Yeah, as of a couple of hours ago, I think. Maybe not even hours. Maybe an hour as of this recording.
Minutes ago.
The hive mind was found. And I honestly, I think that's a fun thing to kind of discuss with you guys because, I did the Nightmare Unicorn. I don't remember what it's called. I'm going to call it the Nightmare Unicorn and hope that you all come along with me on the journey that is John doesn't know the name of the mount, and that's the one he gave it.
It's a nightmare unicorn.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Exactly. So I did that one. I did it well after it had been discovered, and I followed, here's a step-by-step to go through and do it. Now, there were elements that were fun, even if you had a guide. There was a sweet maze. There was a game. There's all sorts of cool stuff. So I got a lot out of it, even though I kind of just had the process laid out in front of me. But I said at that point, I was like, man, the next time they do something like this, I think I want to be part of the hive mind. Get into that Discord, be a part of it, be active, do it in bits and pieces as we discovered it. Maybe I don't contribute anything, but I think it would be cool. I think it would be fun to be a part of it. Turns out in this case, the timing of it wasn't very good. I was sick for a lot of it, or I was at company parties, or working really hard because company parties interrupt company time, and that means you have to work extra hard. So, whatever.
What you're saying is that it's very hard to participate in every aspect of this if you're working on other stuff.
It's true, but I wanted to do it. As it is, I will probably go through and, do what I did before. But I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on these. Have you ever gone after any of these? Have you ever tried to be on the cutting edge of it? Is it something that interests you in the game? Because honestly, I find this to be one of the most fascinating aspects of the game.
Real good.
I definitely find it interesting. I don't think I've gone after any of the more recent ones. Like I haven't gotten that worm mind riddler thing yet. I haven't done the thing with the maze. I keep on saying that I'm going to, and then it always gets put on a back burner, and I never do it. And I'm going to say, yeah, I'd love to do the hive mind thing. Without spoiling too much, it looks like, from what I understand, for at least some portion, especially near the end, you have to obtain this teamed up with people. There's like a group process at the end where you need other players helping you in order to do the last step. So I'm looking forward to trying to gather a few friends, maybe get a few people in FERT together, and on a Friday or Saturday night or something, try to work on it piece by piece and get it together. I think that'd be kind of a cool group bonding experience.
I suggest a Saturday night.
Okay, Saturday night. Yep,
I'm
not Friday.
Busy Fridays.
Unless something gets moved to Saturday, then we should do it Friday. Unless,
that never happens.
Yeah, right. But the one thing I wanted to quickly comment on in regards to the hive mind is this has been claimed 5 days since the patch went in, and I want to say I feel like that's an extraordinarily short amount of time compared to the last couple that have happened. And I don't think it's because the process to get the hive mind was necessarily any easier than the other ones, but to kind of go to your question and your point, John, I think so many people are just feeling compelled to go after this content because it's so unique and different, and because it provides an experience that most of the rest of the game doesn't really provide. It's getting so much attention that you have so many more people on it, and because so many more people are working on it, you have that many more minds at it. The whole process, the exploration is getting done faster, and that's kind of both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it's awesome that there's more mind power working on it, but it's kind of a bad thing because then there's less time for those of us who aren't ready to jump in day one to try to be a part of the process.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You kind of talked about the different ones that we've done and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And bro, I think you're right. I think this one actually does seem like it kind of went by a little faster than normal. But from the long other mystery things that have happened and everything before, I've done technically 4 now. So I did the Riddler's Mind Worm, the Nightmare Unicorn, because that's the name of it. Mm-hmm. Also, I did the Sunfire Darter, which I forget the exact name of that, but whatever. It's the Sunfire Darter hatchling. And then I've also done Ball.
Yeah, the pet.
I gotta say, some of those pet ones are a little bit harder than the mount ones, but at the same time, it's entirely different kind of mechanics. Mm-hmm. Because, with the Nightmare Unicorn, you had a maze that was just absolutely fantastic, and I freaking loved it. Whereas with Ball, I had to very creatively think of ways to go into all of these alliance areas, which made it really hard on me to click on a pebble.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where it's depending on which way you go, it's either super easy, super hard, or whatever. And the fact that Blizzard takes the time to put things into the game like this, it's just it's something that I find absolutely just intriguing and amazing, and I love that they do it. Like, I don't know. Like, if you put Bert together, I don't know if we would be able to figure this out. It's almost like this is an escape room for the entire WoW populace.
Oh yeah, it's Celestalon, who's been he's on the Hearthstone team now, but he was responsible for the design of a couple of these previous things. He mentioned on Twitter the other day he would love to create an actual escape room. I think he should. I think he should create an escape room experience for BlizzCon. I think that'd be awesome.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine the line to get into that? And you have an hour.
Charge money for it. I'd pay.
Like 10 people get to go in, or 10 groups overall, all of BlizzCon. That's all you get.
All of BlizzCon is the escape room.
Oh.
Because I've been there. Sometimes that's harder than you think.
Well, to be fair, if that happened, there would be like martial law and people would be eating each other by the end of it.
The main hall right after the opening ceremony of BlizzCon 2018 felt like an escape room.
Well, really, that was more like a sardine can, or
True.
a stampede, something like that.
But the funny thing about that being an escape room was, I was a part of that, and John, I think you guys were with me, right? Or at least one or both of you were, and we got diverted to like one set of stairs and went underneath the convention center.
Yeah, we went down to the store.
Yeah,
that's how we found the secret escalator to the store.
Yep,
that was pretty great. Oh my gosh. Did I tell you guys about how Nevermore and I completely bypassed the giant security line?
No.
Oh, so great. Okay, so I know I'm totally switching topics here, but it was great.
I did this too, actually, and I would be surprised if I didn't say it on the show, but I don't think I did. I think I told a lot of people in person.
Maybe. But anyway, so after all the crap that we had to go through, by the time we got back to Anaheim, it was the day of Con Before the Storm. And it was like 6 o'clock or something, and I wanted to be at Con Before the Storm as soon as humanly possible. And so Nevermore and I were walking through the middle area where all the food trucks are and everything, and Kalani was there, and he's like, "Hey, there's this one security entrance that nobody goes to, nobody knows where it is. Go to this one, no one will be there." I'm like, "Okay, cool. We'll see how the line is and everything by the time we get there." So we go. We see where, the entrance is to get into Hall D. Then we start seeing the line. And the line is still wrapped halfway around the building. And it's, 6:30 p.m. by this time. So then we keep walking past, keep going. And then finally we get to where the parking structure is. Then we go in there, take a stairs down. And then there's one little tiny security door where people can go in on the bottom. There's no one there.
Wow.
So we just walked right in, got zippy zipped with the metal detectors and stuff, walked right in, then walked right into the line to get our passes and everything. And we saved probably a good 2 hours just by going in that door.
So
it was fantastic.
Replace Kalani with Bell.
Nice.
And our story is basically the same. The only difference in the story is that there was somebody kind of diverting people up above the stairs saying, "No, down there's for employees only." And I heard it as we were coming around the corner. And so I gathered up the team who was a little reticent to go this way, especially after they heard, "No, this is for employees," which I don't think is true, but somebody was there saying it. So I went around the corner and I just said, "This is for employees, right?" And they said, "Yep." And I said, "Okay, thank you," and walked past them. So other than that, literally the exact same story for skipping that line.
Oh, you totally rogued that.
Yeah. Scott and I also broke into the main hall.
Yeah, you did tell that story.
But and that was crazy. But BlizzCon is a fun time where you get to let your rogue out a little bit. I will say this. Yes, I am a rogue. Sometimes I roleplay a rogue in real life. But for anybody that thinks John is always roguish, I want to tell a story of John doing John doing the right thing when presented with the option to do the wrong thing. I actually thought there was a chance that I might be late to this show tonight because I recorded There Will Be Dungeons just before this show. And there was a little gap there where I was going to get to eat food. And I was like, okay, I need food. I have no food in the house. So I ordered some wings from Pizza Hut. And they bring it over. I get the bag and I get it in. And I'm like, this bag feels weird. There's something odd about it. And I look at the bottom and there's what looks like a present taped to the bottom of the bag. I was like, are they doing some like holiday gimmick at Pizza Hut? Like, why is there a present taped to my box or bag? So I pull it off and it's this little like Christmassy looking gift, and I open it up and it's full of money.
Oh jeez.
And I was like, okay, well, I don't think they're just giving me money. That seems odd. And I was like, how much money is this? Because it's just like a couple of ones up at the top, and I was like, is this some ones? Like, what is this? It's a lot of money. I'm not like rich. I wasn't gonna be like, whoa, running through the streets. But I mean, like, I got past the ones, and there were 5s and 10s and 20s, and the stacks were folded, and it was a reasonable amount of money. And Rogue John was like, did it. But Holiday Season John was like, no, we did not, and we're going to call the store and have the driver come back, which is what I did. So
Good job.
I want everybody to know that I have now destroyed all the karma that this act earned by sharing this story, because that's how karma works. It only works if you keep it quiet. So it's gone now. So I have nothing but bad times to look forward to. And let that be a reminder to treat everybody a little nicer during the holiday season.
And the rest of the time.
I'm just surprised that you prefer Pizza Hut over Sargeras.
Sargeras wings are not that great. They were formed in the taint.
Plus, on top of that, I mean, their ovens use fell fire.
Yeah, green fire wings, not the same as orange fire wings. I would think you, of all people, Ro, would know that.
Yeah, I mean, you went through a whole quest to make them.
True, and over the past few months that Battle for Azeroth has been out, I haven't really been in touch with my warlock self, but oddly enough, the past few days, I've been playing a lot of my warlock, and matter of fact, I've gotten my warlock character from 111 to 115.
Nice.
Just doing primarily assaults and some new island expedition stuff. And I gotta say, one thing I'm enjoying about this patch, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, meh, about the patch, but I'm actually having a pretty good time. I like that my warlock, who's a Forsaken character, can participate in attacking the Alliance zones, and my Nightborn can work on defending the Zandalar zones, and they each do their own thing, and it kind of works with my headcanon. That's kind of cool. It's like, I'll let my one character be all badass and attack the Alliance, and I'll let my other character be the one just playing defense, and it works.
You know what makes headcanon really easy?
A head?
Yep. And when you say, I'm in it to win it, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Sure.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. There is has it been enough time? Can we talk about the choice?
No.
I have not gotten to the choice
I have a story
yet.
here for you, John.
Oh.
And, well, bro, you too.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be able to play the patch.
Okay.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But
So a funny thing happened.
You
So I
uninstalled
go in.
WoW.
I uninstall WoW. I'm all, screw this game. You know what?
after watching
Over.
that Warcraft Q&A, you're like, dang it.
I didn't watch it. So
Uninstall.
I just saw like nothing good can come from this, and just
Okay.
So I really was digging the idea of, hey, there's going to be questing stuff. There's going to be things to do. I'm super excited for this. So then I log in and I'm all like, oh, Darkshore, there's new stuff there. I'm going to try and, make sure I hit that world boss before it goes away so that I can get, cool gear and stuff for raid. So I go to Darkshore, start doing the quest line, which I'm like, oh, there's a quest line in front of it. Okay, cool, whatever. Going through, I'm raising night elves. I'm like, this is awesome. And then it's like, get the quest of bring the wisp back. I'm like, okay, cool. So then I run back to where Nathanos is, and I'm supposed to talk to a wisp, which I didn't know where it went. Couldn't see a wisp anywhere. And then I'm like, oh, it's really late, and I got to get up for work. Okay, cool. So I logged out. Came back, logged back in. It was time for raid. Hearthed out of there. Went to raid. Did all that. Logged out. Another day goes by. Log back in. Okay, I'm going to finish this and talk to a wisp and figure out where it is. I take the portal to go over to Darkshore. And it's like Darkshore is in an entirely different phase from when I saw it before. So I'm like, this is a little weird, but okay, whatever. So then I get on Banlu and I fly over to where this wisp is, which is really weird because it's not showing up on my mini map on where to go. I'm like, okay, it's a little odd. So I land where it's supposed to be. Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm looking around and like there's all these guards around and stuff, and like there's a boat out there and like all the stuff's going on. And I'm like, this looks different. It's like I'm in a different phase. Okay, this is weird. So then I fly out of the zone, fly back, basically doing everything that you do to try to rephase yourself correctly. I even went over and talked to the person who's all like, do you want to see what this was like before the war? And I said, yes, I would. And then Teldrassil is up and alive, and I'm like, oh, that's not the right way to do it. So then I talked to her again. I'm like, maybe this will get it back. And she's all, oh, I'm going to put you back to the current time. I'm like, okay, cool.
Kermit the
and
Frog.
It's the phased version again. So
I didn't know that Zadormi sounded like Kermit the Frog.
Totally does. So I'm at the point where I have, last final resort. I dropped the Night Warrior quest, which is what it's called. The quest is the Night Warrior. Like, okay, I'm going to leave. I'm going to come back. There's going to be Nathanos standing there with an exclamation point over his head. Nothing. Okay. So I put in a ticket, and I've been waiting for 3 days so far.
Yikes.
So I'm like, this really sucks, because I was going to start off by doing that. And it didn't work. So then I went back to Zandalar, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll start the war campaign thing. And I'm just like, but what if by doing this, I have to redo it all again anyway once, Darkshore gets fixed? Like, I don't know what they have to do to my character in order to fix it. So I haven't really done anything with the patch, and I'm really bummed about that.
Sounds like your raid team ruined your Warcraft experience.
No, because when I went there in the first place, I couldn't even see the wisp at all anyway.
So all I'm hearing is raids ruin WoW.
I'll let them know that. I'll let them know. But I mean, seriously, I'm really bummed. I want to know what's going on. I don't have a whole ton of time to play right now, so when I did have time, I was hoping to be able to get in there and do some stuff. But oh well.
Can I bring up something that's kind of a tangent on what you just said? You don't have a ton of time to play WoW. It's a little point that I kind of wanted to make, and that is, I've noticed that one of the recurring themes over the past couple of weeks, and like the days leading up to 8.1 and then the days immediately after 8.1, is I've seen a lot of people be critical of the patch and say there's not a lot to do. And that, well, the raid and the Mythic Plus season, stuff like that, that happens in January 22nd. And there's seems to be a strong sentiment that there's not a lot to do. I'm not getting that vibe when I play. And I think that's because maybe it's because I don't play WoW as much as these people who have that same sentiment. Maybe my average hours per day is nowhere close to how much time these people are spending. But I feel like there's plenty to do. I feel like it's fine to do. So I'm just wondering, like, am I just not getting it? Do you guys are you guys kind of in the same place that I am? I mean, I get, for people, if WoW is their primary game, I can possibly understand why they feel that way. I haven't been able to really sympathize too much over the past couple weeks.
Yeah,
Well,
I
first of all-
think for me, you know, I would say kind of a similar thing. I mean, I asked, can we talk about the choice? It's not because I've experienced it. It's because have known about it for months and want to talk about it. I haven't experienced it because I, like Ben said, have not had time to play WoW. I've put in a few hours into the patch. Now, I'm not going to tell anybody who says there's not enough to do that that's not true. You're wrong. Because odds are they play more than I get to. But it didn't work out for me to where I had enough time, so, you know, this drip of content is sustaining weeks for me. So I don't really have anything personally to complain about just yet, but I also don't feel like that puts me in a position to invalidate anything anybody else is saying, because if left to my own devices, yeah, I probably would have spent more time doing it, and who knows how I would have felt in that case.
Yeah.
I was going to make a joke about how Ro can't ask that because he started off asking if he could bring up that topic. But then John jumped in, so now my joke is ruined. But it's okay.
Aw.
Ben, does it make you feel better if I say that it probably wasn't going to be funny?
No, because someone would have laughed. Someone out there would have laughed.
Okay.
And
I'm
Nevermore just
sorry.
laughed from a different room, just probably to placate me. Anyways,
I guess I just wanted to mention that
I
really.
want to actually talk about it.
Okay, fine, go ahead.
Anyways, so Ro, part of that is, I mean, you've been leveling another character, so
Yeah.
automatically that means that there's something there for you to do, which
Right.
that's fine. But
And assaults are good XP. It's like the Legion invasions all over again. I dig it.
But so here's the thing, is, you know, we've had this before, especially back during Warlords of Draenor, when we're like, there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, there was nothing to do then, but it all comes down to just the idea of what is it in the game that you enjoy? What is it that drives you? What do you keep wanting to do? So, you know, John, I know you like to quest and do things, and you're in a weird place where you're actually happy running dungeons and stuff with people. And so, I mean, there's stuff there for you to do when you do get in and log in. For someone who doesn't like dungeons, who doesn't like doing assaults, who doesn't like any of this new stuff that's been in there, they're going to say that there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Even if there is content in there in some form, there's always going to be someone who is not happy with the current content that's available. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I've been on both sides. I mean,
Mhm.
I'll be the first to admit right now that the things I'm into in the game are something of an anomaly for me. Like, for me to be, and I've dwindled a little bit, some of it for time reasons, but some of it just because, like, yeah, it's not as new and shiny. But the stuff I'm into right now is stuff that's been a part of WoW for a long time. It just happens to have tickled my fancy this go around. Whereas in previous expansions, I just wasn't feeling it. So,
Yeah,
but
I
I've
mean-
been on that other side too, where I've said, I don't like anything they're putting out right now. I know there's content, but none of it's for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I logged in, tried to do something, couldn't, which, you know, again, some sort of bug, whatever. It's going to get fixed. I'm not worried about that. Didn't really want to do the other content because I didn't know how that would affect what was going on. So there's that. But here's the thing, like, because of that, I just logged out. There's plenty of other things, like, I need to get that Blood Elf Heritage armor. That's
I got
important to
that.
me. Well, yeah, but you have a 120 Blood Elf. I don't right now.
Oh, because you're a
basically-
panda.
Yeah. So what I need to do is get on my mage that I retired and level her to 120 so that I can get stupid armor.
It's the return of Ben the Mage after all these
Yeah.
years.
I'm a mage again, everybody.
I don't even think I have another blood elf anymore. Everybody's a panda if they can. I got a panda, a Nightborn.
Wait, Alania's a panda?
No, she's not.
Huh.
Man,
No, I mean it's
Ben
like
went
everything.
real panda crazy.
Oh yeah, it's because Pandaren are great,
Uh,
dude. So
they're
we get the,
maybe a character great. I don't know if they're
No,
all
they're
characters
fantastic.
great.
absolutely fantastic. In fact, one of the advantages of being a panda is one of the racials called bouncy. It's just you take less fall damage.
Yeah,
so
you
if
get
you're
that
panda
by
rogue,
being a
you're just-
rogue.
I know, but if you're not a rogue, you get full, like, you know, you just don't die.
Wait, what if you're a Pandaren rogue? Does it stack?
Yeah, you just don't die.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, simple as that. But so we're going into the Mithrax fight in Raid, and everybody, John, this is where there's a big pit in the ground. Everybody jumps in and then just starts the fight. So one of the things that one of the healers was talking about is like, yeah, everybody takes damage just right off the beginning. We have to heal it really fast. So the next time we jumped in, I looked, I'm like, oh, I got nothing. I'm bouncy. And I am the only Pandaren in the raid. So it's like, I'm good. Everyone else, bruh.
Hey,
Oh.
for the
Oh, yeah.
record,
Raid
I
was
cast levitate on myself right before I hit the
Oh, I
ground.
know.
I
And I
can
appreciate
grappling hook, and I'm a rogue. I'm a rogue with a grappling hook.
Yeah, yes, you are.
Yeah.
But you're not with us in raid, so you don't count.
Yeah, well, I just want you to know that somewhere there's someone who would negate that damage, too.
Yeah. Well,
That's
if Morgrim used his grappling hook right before he hit the ground, which honestly, he might have, I wasn't paying attention. All I know is that when I landed, I took no damage, and being bouncy is great.
I like to imagine that Brian just face plants and that's where he dies. He doesn't make it past the jumping into the room.
That I can see that happening.
I've got to say, I'm really curious to hear eventually, whether it's episode 300 or 301 or whenever it happens, to hear your guys' experiences with these assaults, doing them in war mode. Because I will say, the war mode gameplay has been pretty fun when I've had it turned on. One of the cool things about these assaults, though, is that when an assault happens, both sides are in that zone working on faction specific quests. So if you're the Horde in Kul Tiras, you're doing offensive quests, and the Alliance are basically doing like defensive quests, but it all happens in the same space. It's kind of weird that with Legion invasions, they kind of took place all over the whole zone, but here the assaults take place in like a very specific part of the map, and everyone's just really concentrated and together. And I can't imagine what you guys are gonna feel like doing that in war mode, because I've done it. I've done an assault in war mode on my Shadow Priest once, and I've got to say, I think it's the most fun I've had with war mode on, because I did not feel alone, and it was nothing but action and craziness. It's for those people who are skittish about war mode. If you want an experience that's going to be awesome, do it in an assault area where you are not by yourself. You will have a fun time. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, war mode by yourself is no fun at all. You wanna have friends with war mode, because then you get to do all the fun stuff. You get to go sit in the middle of a road and just see what happens with all your friends hiding in the trees. Oh
That's
my
great.
gosh, it's so fun. War mode's been so fun this expansion. Jeez, it's been good.
You told me that story on Rolling Restart, I think.
Did I? I may have said it on here
About
too.
the setting up the ambush and everything.
Yeah, setting up ambushes is fun. War mode it adds so much flavor to the stuff that can be a daily grind. And I'm guilty of just saying, "Oh, I just want to get through it," and turning it off. It happens more often than not, but
And
man,
that's okay too.
It adds so much, and it does bring back those glory days of like Terran Mill and the wars that would break out there, because there is a level of escalation. There is a level of, oh god, look how many people they have, and then you look behind you and there's all your allies, and you're like, oh my gosh, we're about to Gangs of New York this business. Get out the little flute, play the song, let's do this.
Why can't we just West Side Story it? Just have a
'Cause
dance on it.
Snap fingers and yeah.
It's not brutal enough, and I want to hear that flute. I had never seen Gangs of New York. I watched it for the first time a couple years ago, and there is a flute song. I think it's the flute. There is a song that gets played, and it will be in your head for years, because it's still in my head.
I've seen the opening to that movie. It looks pretty great. I just haven't finished it.
The song, man. They're marching through town. You just hear this thing, and it is like the biggest earworm in the world, and it's not good. It's not a good song. But what fun. Anyway, that's what WoW PvP is. It's Gangs of New York.
Okay.
It can be West Side Story if you sing, I guess.
Yeah, but it requires more than just one person. I mean, you know how those like choreographed group dances need to happen and stuff. Yeah. Dang. Oh, well.
But yeah, I'm just honestly in terms of I didn't know exactly what we were going to talk about in general. We never really do when we do these episodes, but
Ooh.
in terms of 8.1, in the time that I've had been able to spend with it, I'm having a fun time, and I think there's just enough there that I'm going to be happy when January 22nd comes around and we got a new raid. My main concern right now is there's Christmas week, there's New Year's week. Our raid team's probably not going to raid a few times between now and January 22nd. And I'm like, man, we only have so many nights left, and we still have 3 bosses left we need to down.
2 bosses.
Or 2 bosses, right. I guess it felt like 3 because Zool was such a pain in the ass.
You could say that it's not the easiest boss when
It's not.
You know, like when you hit phase 2 and it's just chaos.
No,
Not
okay.
the easiest boss.
I'm sorry. You know what? Zool is not a pain in the ass. Do you know what is? And
hemorrhoid.
Ben knows.
A hemorrhoid.
No. You know what? I will say this right now. Old Deer and Zool is the raid encounter that has finally brought me entirely over to John's side of the battle on this. Dear Blizzard, I'm done with trash.
Yes!
Absolutely freaking done. I don't want to fight any more trash ever again in the history of WoW raid encounters. I know you say that trash is put in there to help pace the raid. I don't freaking care anymore. I'd rather work on progression. I'm so over raid trash entirely.
Yeah,
If I want to kill
it's
trash,
horrible.
I'll do dungeons
I'm not
or
a fan-
island expeditions.
What if they
Not
got
a
rid
fan
of
of it at all.
trash from everything?
Okay, so why did people actually hate Trial of the Champion? Or is it Crusader?
It wasn't the best raid, but it was good that there was no trash.
Yeah, but why are people upset that there's no trash?
I don't think people were upset there was no trash. I think they don't
Well,
like the
there
raid.
are people who are
Well,
upset that there's no trash.
People, you know what? There are people out there that eat poop. And I'm sorry to go down this road. It was just what popped into my head. People make all sorts of decisions. And
Okay, fair point.
you know, there's a lid for every pot, and trash out there, someone is probably like, hey, you know, I love this part. But you know what? It was better. The raid wasn't that great. I do agree. I understand why people are like, no, I hated that raid. But I only take umbrage if the reason they hated it was there was no trash in it. You can dislike that raid for the encounters and the PvP fight that was in the middle. I understand all of that. But if your issue was they didn't have trash in it, then I don't know, because that was a really nice thing.
Back in the day, trash was kind of a nice thing to have because it gave raid leaders time to kind of figure out loot divvying and stuff like that, and you needed time for those things. But we don't live in a world where we need that time anymore the way that loot's handled in the game. We don't need artificial breaks in between bosses. I don't mind. The only exception I can make for trash and raids is if it's something like the vehicle stuff leading up to Flame Leviathan in Ulduar. If it's something unique, if it's something that's outside of your norm of killing a bunch of stuff like you would do in a dungeon or an island expedition, maybe you could put my name next to doing something like that. But the trash before Zool is responsible for killing literally 6 to 8 hours of our raid progression. If we didn't have to clear trash before Zool
It takes
every
about
single time we
15
worked on
minutes
it,
to a half hour.
yeah. If we didn't have to deal with that trash, we would likely already be past Mithrax and working on Gahoon.
Mm-hmm. But okay, so please don't beat me up over this.
It's
Nope.
fine.
Devil's advocate.
Yep.
it'd be really weird walking into Black Temple, the throne of Illidan, if there wasn't anything else in there other than bosses.
No, but you know what's weird is that they rely on 15 to what, 30 max people to clear the entire thing. My thought has always been the Siege of Orgrimmar should have been a siege. The way you don't have to make everybody fight all those trash fights is you send us in with a army that deals with the bulk of the trash, and you don't, and you let the champions go on and fight the champions.
The Warfront does it right, because the Warfront, you have all these artificial NPCs that are on your side as you're storming Stromgarde, and you have literally hundreds of NPCs on your side with your group of 20 or so actual players going over to take out the leader of the other side.
Except once we kill the dude in the mine, should the champions really be the ones gathering all
Ben's totally nailing my point. I was going to say, you know what, you're right. Till they tell you, here's an axe. Congratulations, you're a damn peon. Go chop wood. Work.
Yes.
Look, the best part about that lumberyard is as soon as they have the axe, you talk to the dude again, you get flannel. That's the only good part.
It's just like...
But to what you're saying as far as like how raid should be, you should be raiding with like a whole freaking army on this place. I totally agree, and I don't think it would be that difficult for them to implement something like that in the raid. Actually, for all we know, the Battle of Zoldazar, one would think we're going to have a lot of outside NPCs to kind of help, stage the scene and stuff like that. And quite frankly, yeah, we shouldn't have to deal with trash. That's what the front lines are for. That's what the people with the shields and stuff are for. They can handle the trash. We'll take care of the hardcore stuff.
So send in the shaman, the warriors, and the paladins, because they have shields.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. As being literal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And okay, so Alessandro makes a good point. Is that this is what Blizzard does. It's to slow you down so you don't run out of content like right away. And I get that. But conversely, it's like at some point you have to make the trash either, there but completely meaningless, where we just walk in and AoE down the whole stuff.
For the record, I prefer this method.
Yeah. It's there to train you about boss abilities, which those are good to have there, but at a certain point, you just AoE down, who cares?
And the Zul Trash does that. The Zul Trash has mobs that with abilities that function similar to the stuff that Zul is spawning to fight against you. And that's fine.
Do you need that many?
No, you don't. You need to do like each group maybe once, not 6 times.
I mean, after going through an entire zone of blood trolls and then going through Old Year, I never want to freaking see one of those again, because by the time we're done with Old Year, they should all be dead.
Yes.
All of them. Like, if I'm doing world quests in Nazmir, there shouldn't be any blood trolls. Nothing. I should just
there's
walk in.
A lot of blood trolls.
The entire zone is blood trolls and then like an area with turtles.
Yeah. It's just
Are
weird.
there more blood trolls than high elves in Azeroth?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of blood trolls.
Mm-hmm.
I think there might be more blood trolls, like, just based on how many I've seen and killed experience. I think there might be more blood trolls than most other races.
Yeah. I actually concur.
There's a lot of them. I feel like in the back of my head, I feel like there are 8 Tortollans.
There's that sounds about right. Maybe 12 if you want to,
Maybe 12.
Like some we didn't see.
Yeah, well, I did find that underwater wedding, and there were a few there.
Okay.
There's an underwater wedding?
Oh, yeah, there's an underwater wedding for Tortollans.
Okay, I need to check this out.
But, like, it's weird because that is a thought that has been in the back of my head as I played this game. I'm like, there's not a lot of Tortollans. And I don't know why I ever thought that, but now that you're
never had anyone able to defend them as they're making it to the water. That's why.
It's true.
Next expansion, the world's gonna be full
shitload of Tortollans.
We are basically destroying the current ecosystem.
The armies of the old gods are actually the Tortollans, and we're just helping repopulate.
It's gonna take place 13 years in the future, and it's gonna be Teenage Mutant Ninja Tortollans.
Oh no.
Yep.
And now we have an episode title.
I'm excited for it, but it's true. Like there's a lot of blood elves, and you go to the blood trolls.
Yeah.
There's a lot of blood elves too. Speaking of races with a lot of representation, I was doing the quest to get your armor, and they're talking about how their people were on the verge of extinction from what Arthas did, and I was like, "There's a lot of you." I just want to point this out. You all live
Look.
for a very long time.
90% of the horde is blood elves.
Right?
You know, there's a lot of blood elves. You would think we would be more important to the lore.
You would really.
You would think Blizzard would look at the numbers and go, guys, we got to tell blood elf stories because we've got 7 orcs, 8 if
One
you
of them
count
big troll.
Gerp, and then we've got blood elves for days.
If Arthas hadn't taken out Sylvanas, she would have been a blood elf.
True.
Well, I mean, that's why Blizzard did their heritage armor first. Like, oh crap, people are gonna be really pissed. Let's make the blood elves.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up because then my follow-up to that is, are there that many Alliance players playing dwarves that they felt dwarves should be first for heritage
I
armor?
mean, maybe. When I think about Alliance races, the ones that I think are cool are Worgen, Draenei, Dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
Although,
I'd
you know
agree with
what? I will say maybe they gave blood elves the heritage armor because they were the last newly updated horde race. 'Cause remember back in Warlords, we had to wait till like patch photobomb in order to, or a selfie stick in order to get the updated models.
Yeah, selfie stick
Yeah.
patch. You know,
I love that you call it patch photobomb.
the second patch of 2.
It was, and that was a 0.1 patch. That was patch 6.1.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was the first patch of 2. My bad.
Was it a patch? I mean,
No,
called
but they
it
wanted
one.
you to believe it was, Ben. They wanted you to think.
That's true. Oh, I'm so glad this stuff was. I'm glad it's changed. So glad.
You know,
But
that's another thing too. This isn't Warlord. Just for people that are about content. Remember Warlords of Draenor? At least it's not that.
I mean,
I'm sure there are people that are like, I liked Warlords of Draenor and I don't like this.
No, there are
Sure.
people out there where Warlords was their first expansion, so they loved it.
Well,
Hi,
again,
Cuddles.
some people eat poop.
We do not think that Cuddles eats poop.
I mean, I never asked them.
No.
I mean, I don't assume it.
No.
Yeah. Anyways, but I mean, seriously, why aren't there a whole lot of Blood Elf stories? They're really heavily tied into the lore, if you think about it. Because, I mean, Sylvanas, you said it, is a Blood Elf. Arthas basically destroyed Silvermoon, and I mean, in a sense, there was not exactly an expansion where they were very heavily involved, but there should have been. I don't know.
Well, they've updated Lorthamar. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's his name. You got it. Nailed it.
Did it. They are now, Kotaku wrote a whole article about him.
Nice.
Were they
you know,
right?
you know, you've made it when Kotaku writes about you.
Yeah,
crap.
they wrote an entire article about, what'd they call him? They called him, like, the Blood Elf Sexy Daddy or something like that.
The gray fox of the Blood Elves.
Yeah, they're really feeling the Lorthamar over there.
Oh boy.
That's the way to
So,
do it, I guess.
you know, hey, maybe he's gonna do something now. He went, he went on
You know what?
some of the
Okay.
adventure with me.
Well, if you think about it, we're just doing the the horde race checklist for who's been war chief. We've had an orc,
Yeah.
we've had a troll, we've had an undead. Now it's the blood elf turn.
Oh my gosh.
I
Blood
mean, Blood Elf or Tauren. I would be.
Tauren or Goblin, and maybe Pandaren. So we got 4 left, guys. Then we'll have the whole set.
Oh, you know, I really.
I hate this.
Can we just forget
this
that
so
goblins
much.
exist as a horde race?
I love goblins. I don't like Gallywicks. But anyway,
I guess that's what I mean.
I feel like every expansion, Blizzard spins the big wheel and they go, all right, guys, what do we do in this expansion? And it's like, damnedest thing. It landed on mess with the Horde War Chief again. This is like the 5th time in a row. But I guess we gotta listen to the wheel. That's why we built the wheel.
Well, it doesn't help that 80% of the spaces are messed with the War Chief or the Horde War Chief.
Yeah.
We just need to hack the wheel.
I think the wheel's hacked. It comes up too much.
Yeah, what
So,
we need to do is get those like little pie piece bits that they have on Wheel of Fortune to like slap them down over some of them.
What do you replace mess with the War Chief again with?
Mess with the Alliance King.
Yeah, there you go. They did that once, sorta. They did it once in the service of also messing with the Horde War Chief. Hey, you know what? The chat room is trying a real campaign to get Warlords defended. Apparently, the WoW expansion millennials have come to town and have decided to go all hipster on, I liked Warlords. I have the cool unpopular opinion.
I'm glad that some people like Warlords. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Everybody has their own favorite expansion.
No,
And
I am going to say they're wrong. The suggestion I've seen is Warlords did bring Pepe.
That's one of the few things good that came out of Warlords.
I'm not saying nothing good came of the expansion. I'm saying the expansion had 2 patches, and one of them was barely a patch, and it was... The leveling at the beginning was okay, but that expansion was shit.
To Andy W5X5 in chat, who says, though, I'm going to make a leap and say those who like Warlords of Draenor also like Fallout 76. For the record,
That's a big diss.
I actually do not hate Fallout 76. I've actually played
But
100
do you
hours
like
of
it?
Fallout 76. Do I like Fallout 76? Yes. Is there stuff that needs to be fixed with that? Hell yes. Did I like Warlords of Draenor? I didn't hate it, but I don't think I would necessarily say I loved
Ro, how does it feel to have just said on our show that you like the Warlords of Draenor of Fallout games?
it. I'm that weird person. I totally get it. I'm in a minority with that, but that just goes to prove the point. There is a minority out there who will like the stuff that the majority thinks is like absolute garbage.
I don't know. Indescribably, most of the chat room seems to like Warlords. Now, some
I think
of
they're
them,
just saying that
some
out of
of them are putting the bar in weird places. Like H. Hooven 4 says Warlords was far better than Cataclysm. Okay, Cataclysm is my second least favorite expansion, so we're in the muck. And I can
finish reading it because he does say at least Warlords had Black Rock Foundry, which was a good raid. I will give him
Dragon
that.
Soul was a great raid.
Dragon Soul was a much better raid, but Black Rock Foundry was a good raid.
Yes.
Although it did have Ore Gorger, which nearly destroyed our raid team and made us actually completely break up. So, maybe not. Aspects of it were good.
There was some good stuff in Warlords. It's just that was the expansion that was the expansion I unsubscribed for. So that's where I draw my line. That's how I know where it lands on my list. That was the expansion where I said, this is something I shouldn't have to pay for a while, and then I didn't. And then
That's
I
true.
eventually did again. But
For about almost a whole year, you didn't have an.
No, it wasn't that long. It may have been.
Well,
It
okay.
may have been
You
6
didn't-
months.
You didn't log in for at least a whole year.
That's probably true. There was a lot I didn't play for, but there was a period of a few months where I didn't pay for it either.
Yeah.
And yes, Blackrock Foundry's end boss was voiced by Darren DePaul, and it's a finally voiced boss.
Just because it's a very good voice actor doesn't mean it's the best raid in the expansion.
Yeah.
Although it is the best raid in that expansion.
There's a
It
lot
is.
of parts. It's also a very beautiful expansion because it's one of the more recent ones,
Mhm.
but that doesn't make it
Yeah.
fun.
We did get updated character models for that expansion, but you know what? That could have been in any expansion. They were coming anyway.
How do we... Okay. I don't want to talk about Warlords too much,
Yeah.
but... And we also have to wind down because Ben and I have to go to a movie.
Yes.
But here's a controversial take for right at the very end of the show. Where is everybody feeling on the new character models? They're definitely better. But do you feel like you got out of it when somebody said on a slide, new character models, do you feel like you got out of it what you expected or wanted in the back of your mind?
To be honest, I don't really even remember what the old one looks like.
Well, you
And
can turn it
the,
on, can't you? You can go back
yeah,
to
you
it.
can, but I don't care enough to really go for it. I mean, I think a big part of that is because I played a Blood Elf for a very long time. So they were better looking than the original models. Not by a ton more. But then, you know, I got a new Blood Elf character model, and I guess she looked a little better.
Again, I'm trying to, I guess, give voice to where my head's at on this, and it's hard to describe. They're definitely better. There are more polygons. They're more
Yeah.
expressive. They're amazing. But I think where I'm coming from is, Trolls got the weird back toe. That came out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And there was so I actually said this online recently. Nothing makes me want to play a troll more than seeing amazing artwork of trolls. And right now we're seeing a ton of it because of Hearthstone. Hearthstone put in all these cool looking trolls. It makes me want to play a troll for every one of my characters. Nothing makes me want to immediately stop playing a troll than when I see the in-game troll model. And I remember at that point, oh, these are the updated models too, and I still think they look dumb in the game, but when you draw them, they look great. And I think it comes back to that desire to adhere to what the old one was, but with more polygons instead of
Yeah.
adding new stuff. And honestly, I think I'm disappointed by some of them.
Yeah. I mean, Andy in the chat room, I think, is nailing it with the armor is where you see a lot of the difference.
Yeah.
I
I agree.
I would say that having new models and more polygons and textures and stuff is all cool and good and great. My thing about the models, my two, I guess, critiques of just the way player character models are done in WoW is when it comes to your own player character model, unless you are spinning the camera around or taking a selfie pic or something like that, you're watching the back of your character most of the time, which is covered by armor, possibly a cloak anyhow. So when it comes to other character models, it's the other player's character models that you're going to see more than your own. That there's that. So the whole character model thing has never been a huge big deal for me. And then on top of that, it's just everyone looks too similar. And that goes to one of the things that after 14 years, World of Warcraft still doesn't have that a lot of current MMOs do, and that is some degree of sliders and character customization. I feel especially that you have all these new character models that have more polygons. I would think that they would be more friendly to a slider system, but apparently they aren't. And it baffles me why we have not seen character sliders for our characters in WoW. I think if you had sliders and you could adjust the size and shape of certain proportions to a degree, that you might see a little more variety and you would get more trolls that kind of better approximate what you're seeing in this recent artwork, John. I think part of the problem with trolls in WoW is every troll looks basically the same silhouette wise and structure wise, while with the Hearthstone art of trolls have like 100 different ways you can present them.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the problem. As soon as you put sliders in, you're going to have a different kind of troll, which will break the RP ideas and elements out of the game for some people.
So
the game has been around.
You keep
Hold on,
the jiggle physics in check.
That's not what I'm talking about. Well, first of all, the game's been around for 14 years. They're not going to change it now. As much as I would love to say, hey, we have them, it's not going to change. They have a specific art style that is going into character models, which is going into the world, which is they're trying to keep everything there. But case in point, with sliders, have you ever done or looked up anything called Ugly Shepherd?
Yeah.
No.
So Mass Effect has sliders. And there is someone out there who went every single wrong way they possibly could with their Mass Effect sliders. And their their shepherd is a horrible, horrible, scary, grossly looking abomination. And depending on how much control you're given, that's going to break people out of their RP immersion and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, in a world where there's too many sliders and too many ways to make yourself look dumb and awful, I would much rather have the boring we all look the same than the variety that comes with that awfulness. But that doesn't mean there can't be a happy medium at the same time.
And they're doing a little bit of that with Night Elves with this patch. Like you have the extra customization option to have the Night Warrior look, and like Blood Elves recently have the Gold Eye option or something.
Yeah, I think I would like to see more stuff like that get added over time. It just feels so watered down when they add it. It's like such a... And I don't... Again, it's like whenever I say, oh, titles should just be added to the game for everything, because how hard can it be to put in titles? I don't know that it's easy. So same deal here. It could be that to add new feature options to characters is super hard, but we literally have a barber shop. They should be doing new hairstyles frequently. They should be doing new customization options for characters more often. I know they don't... Maybe they look at it as some weird lore thing, but Blood Elves should technically have yellow, green, and blue eyes, as well as potentially no glow. There's a ton of options out there that should be available. They opt not to do it. And I think that's okay, but if you're not going to let people mess with body type and stuff like that, you could expand these features and give those as options, as a, middle ground again. But that's me. I'm the person who's obsessed with transmog. How my character looks is as important to me as questing and leveling, and that means absolutely zero to a ton of people out there. So I'm sure that they don't see it as worth their resources.
Like the big thing that I want is undead models for all of the races. That's just all. To me, it makes sense. At this point, Sylvanas is freaking raising everything.
Yeah.
Undead models.
There's skeleton models for all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyways, Ro, thank you very much for joining us on this fantastic, wonderful Saturday edition of Azeroth Roundtable.
Thank you, as always, for having me on. It's always fun being on, and like I said earlier, this is the highlight of my day, and it most definitely was. And I look forward to the next time I'm with you guys in 2019.
2019 is going to be the Roleless year.
Oh no.
No, not really. I would never do that. I have too much fun talking to you. Anyways, until next time you are on, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ROWOW. That's RHOWOW. I do a number of different podcasts. There is Rolling Restart. If you are interested in Warcraft, you will find Ben and John on many of those episodes as well, each as co-hosts. You can also find me on the Realm Maintenance podcast if you love Blizzard games and you're looking for more podcasts about those games. And if you're looking for Hearthstone talk, check out Hearth Casual with myself and Kevin Ellis, aka Multizord. We talk about Hearthstone as far as the casual player goes. I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about Rostacon's Rumble, the single player experience that just got released a few days ago. And a very last but not least, just going back to Realm Maintenance, just a quick shout out that the last week of the year, there will be the special yearly maintenance series I do where it's 6 days in a row of new episodes featuring content from that was recorded throughout the entire year. So please do check it out. Give you something to listen to during the holidays.
Very cool. John, how about you? Where can people find you?
If you want to hear more from me, follow me on Twitter. I'll let you know where I'll be at John_Jagger. You can catch me playing Dungeons and Dragons on There Will Be Dungeons. That's already recorded, so look it up, therewillbedungeons.com. Or you can catch me talking about Heroes of the Storm on Core.
Core!
You can find out more about that at heroesforyou.com.
All right. If you're looking for me, you can follow me on Twitter. I am at Ben the Mage. I do a show with Ludo called Battle Pets, where we talk about battle pets in the World of Warcraft. This show, though, Azeroth Roundtable, you can find us and every episode we've ever done on AzerothRoundtable.com, iTunes, and Spotify. That's right, that's all set up, and you can find us on Spotify now.
Yay!
Of course, if you're already listening to this, other than the one person who's been asking for us to be on Spotify, maybe you'll find us there too. I don't know. But if you have any questions, comments, or want to email us, you can always send those to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com, kind of like Jane did, which Jane sent a message, and he said, "Hello, Ben and John."
Hello.
Hello. I've been slowly catching up on the show after falling behind a lot last year, and recently listened to episode 279 with Turarts. During the episode, you said something about not expecting anyone to listen to the episode a lot later, but if they did, to send you an email. So here's the email. I wasn't quite a year late, but I think it's 45 months is late enough. Love you
Wow.
guys.
Good job.
That's
So I gotta
awesome.
say, thank you very much for that.
Man, not
See,
only
people-
did they do it, but then they followed through. I really respect that.
That's
Yeah.
a deep cut. I love it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So seriously, everybody, thank you. We do read the emails. I'm just proving it to you. Anyways, if you want to follow us on Twitter, we are at AzerothRT. And of course, we do record live most Fridays on twitch.tv/AzerothRT. Currently, it is at 7 p.m. Pacific. So check us out live. It's always a good time, even if it's just the chat room telling us how wrong we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Warlords of Draenor, we were right about them.
Yes.
Hey, everybody, it's the end of the show. I'm here to tell you that this show is made possible by the people who support us over at Patreon. A big thank you to all of you. We'd like to give a special shout out to the Murloc Club. That is Aaron Somdi, Haster, Jesse O, Jim G, Caleb M, and Sash, who has added Kitty Dreams in the name. So I wanted to say Kitty Dreams because you added it to the name, and I'm assuming that's because you wanted me to say it. So I said it. Because if you put it in your name, I'll say it. Maybe. Don't abuse that system.
Kitty drums.
Thank you again. Supporting us. Patreon.com/AzerothRT is where you go to do that. Thank you so much.
Yes, and as this holiday season is kind of, well, it's still about in the beginnings. It's not even halfway done. Just make sure you go out, be kind to everybody around you. Someone might be having a bad day. Be good to each other. I guess that's where I am ending out.
Yeah, we'll end that there.
Yeah, okay. Hey, that's a show!
Hey!
Hey!